At 73, Harold sat quietly on the edge of my exam table. He was well-dressed, pressed shirt, polished shoes, the kind of man who always showed up with dignity, even when life was unraveling inside. He looked at me and said, "Doc, I don't feel like a man anymore. I don't feel anything down there. It's like my body turned the lights off and forgot to tell me." That sentence, "I don't feel like a man anymore," has echoed in my office more times than I can count. I'm Dr. Max Cole. I've spent over 30 years as a urologist here in the US, walking with men through some of their most personal quiet struggles, the ones they don't even tell their closest friends about. And if you're over 60 and your erections have become soft, inconsistent, or even non-existent, I want you to know something. This isn't the end of your story. What I'm about to share with you isn't found in a pharmacy. It doesn't come in a bottle or require a prescription. Because sometimes what we really need is already inside of us. You see, your body has not forgotten how to feel. It just needs a little help, a signal, a spark to remind it what it's capable of. And today I'm going to show you 3 gentle tapping points on your body, places you probably never thought could affect your arousal, your blood flow, even your confidence as a man. They're simple, they're free, and they're backed by both ancient wisdom and modern science. I've seen these small practices transform the way men feel in their own skin, not just physically, but emotionally. Because this isn't just about sex, it's about dignity, it's about connection, and it's about coming back home to yourself. So if you're tired of quick fixes that don't last, if you're ready to feel alive again, not just as a man, but as a whole human being, then take a deep breath, settle in. And if you and I honest, heartfelt advice like this crafted, especially for older adults, please tap the like button, subscribe to our channel, Life Over 50 Plus, and let's begin this journey together. You're not alone, and your best days aren't behind you. They're just waiting to be tapped into. Why tapping works, the science behind the method. When most people hear the words tapping for erections, they think it sounds a little unconventional. And truthfully, I did too at first. As a urologist with over 30 years of experience helping men navigate everything from erectile dysfunction to urinary incontinence, I was trained to look at lab tests, prescriptions, and procedures. Not touch, not breath, certainly not tapping. But years ago, a patient changed my perspective. His name was Lionel, 70 years old, former mechanic, and a man who'd lived most of his life with grit and calloused hands. He sat in my office after trying medication after medication. Nothing worked. He hated the side effects. And he said to me, almost in a whisper, "Doc, I just want to feel like myself again. Without pills, without pressure." That's when I began looking deeper, not into his prescriptions, but into the connection between his brain and his body. You see, sexual health isn't just about testosterone levels or performance. It's about how the nervous system, blood flow, and emotional state all come together at the same time. And as we age, especially for men over 60, that connection starts to fray. We hold more tension. We lose sensation. Our stress signals stay on longer than they should. That's where tapping comes in. This gentle, rhythmic stimulation done on specific pressure points activates what we call the parasympathetic nervous system. I call it the green light system. It tells your blood vessels to open, your breathing to slow, your muscles to relax. It's the biological equivalent of someone placing a hand on your shoulder and saying, "It's okay, you're safe, let go." And in those conditions, erections happen naturally. Blood flows, desire wakes up. This is why techniques like tapping, though often overlooked, can be a powerful tool in senior health and men's health. No side effects, no shame, just your own body doing what it was designed to do. Now, let me be clear, this isn't magic. It's nervous system science, and it works best when done gently, consistently, and with intention. Most older men have never been taught this. They're told that masturbation is either bad or shameful, that sexual desire fades with age, or that medication is their only option. But the truth is the body remembers. You just have to give it permission to remember, and tapping gives it that permission. So if you've ever felt disconnected from your own arousal, if you've wondered whether semen retention power is even possible at your age, or whether a non-medical approach can really work, I invite you to stay open, because you're not broken. You're just overdue for a reconnection. Lionel started tapping 3 times a week. not as a ritual for performance, but as a quiet act of respect toward his own body. Within 3 weeks, his confidence returned. His intimacy became less pressured, and his words still stay with me today. I didn't need a cure, I just needed to feel connected again. This is what tapping offers, a way back to connection. Now I want to show you the first place to begin. It's a point on your lower abdomen that I call the ignition switch. And once you learn how to use it, you'll never see your core the same way again. Let's take a look. Point 1. The Sea of Energy, CV6. When it comes to restoring healthy erections in men over 60, most people look down there for answers. But the first place I want to take you is actually just below your belly button, a place few men ever think to notice. This is what's known in traditional medicine as CV6, or the Sea of Energy. It sits about 2 finger widths beneath the navel, and while it may look like just another part of the abdomen, I can tell you from experience it's anything but ordinary. I remember working with James, a retired firefighter from Ohio, 71 years old, proud, tough, but quietly broken inside. He'd struggled for years with erectile dysfunction, and after exhausting pills and supplements, he told me bluntly, "Doc, I'm out of ideas. I don't want to talk about testosterone anymore. I just want to feel like a man again." What James didn't realize was that part of his tension and even his emotional frustration was being stored right here in his core. As men, we're taught to tighten this area, hold in our stomachs, push through pain, but over time that creates a kind of armor, one that blocks not only blood flow, but connection. So I showed James how to find CV6. We used 2 fingers to measure below his navel. I asked him to breathe deeply, relax his jaw, and gently tap the area for 60 seconds. He looked skeptical. Most men do, but by the end of the week, he came back and said something I'll never forget. "I don't know what's happening, but I'm feeling something again. It's like the lights are flickering back on." That's the magic of this point. You see, CV6 isn't just a spot on your body, it's a switch, a way to activate blood flow, calm internal pressure, and send your nervous system a very simple but powerful message. It's safe now, let the energy move again. And for men who struggle with senior health issues like urinary incontinence, chronic tension, or even a lack of sensation during masturbation, this point offers more than just physical relief. It offers emotional release too. Because let's be honest, many older men carry silent shame in this part of the body. Years of frustration, guilt, feeling like their masculinity is fading. But when you tap CV6 with purpose and kindness, you're not just waking up blood vessels, you're waking up belief. So here's how you can try it yourself. 1. Sit or lie down comfortably. 2. Place 2 or 3 fingers about 1.5 inches below your navel. 3. Gently tap or apply light pressure for 60 seconds while breathing slowly. 4. As you do, visualize warmth spreading through your abdomen. 5. Focus on presence, not performance. You might feel a tingling, a gentle heat, or even an emotional shift. That's all normal. The point isn't to force anything. It's to create a space where your body feels invited to respond again. This is what I call a soft restart, not for your erections alone, but for your self-respect. If you're someone who's wondering whether semen retention power or energy healing can have a place in real men's health, this is a grounded place to begin. No chanting, no gimmicks, just breath, touch, and awareness. And if it feels awkward at first, that's okay. New things often do, but give it a few tries. See how your body responds. And maybe, just maybe, you'll start to feel something shift, not just physically, but emotionally. Now we've activated the energy center in your core. But what if the problem isn't in your body at all, but in your mind? Let's take a look at the second point, a place that has helped many of my patients calm their anxiety before intimacy, sometimes for the first time in decades. Let's move to the feet. Point 2, the bubbling spring, K1. For many men, the issue isn't in the body, it's in the mind. And no matter how strong the desire, no matter how much blood is flowing, if your thoughts are filled with fear, shame, or performance anxiety, everything can shut down in an instant. That's where this next point becomes so powerful. It's called awakening, or the bubbling spring, and it's located on the sole of your foot just beneath the ball, right in the soft center. Yes, I know it seems strange at first. What does the foot have to do with erections? Let me tell you a story. Gregory was 68, a retired accountant. He came into my office with good lab results, strong heart, good circulation, no major hormonal imbalances. But every time he got close to his wife, the same thing happened. His heart raced, his thoughts spiraled, and the erection disappeared. He told me it is like my mind and my body are in different rooms. That's when I introduced him to K1, a grounding point used in both traditional acupressure and modern anxiety therapy. When tapped or pressed gently, it sends a calming message to your nervous system. It tells your brain, you're here, you're safe, you can let go now. We started small. I had Gregory tap the soles of his feet for just 30 seconds each night before bed, nothing intense, just steady, rhythmic tapping with his fingertips while breathing slowly. Within a week, his sleep improved. Within 2, his wife noticed he was more present, not just during intimacy, but during conversations, shared meals, everyday moments. This wasn't just about sexual health anymore. It was about senior wisdom, learning how to bring the mind and body back together after years of quiet disconnection. If you're an older man who struggled with stress-related erectile dysfunction, or if you've found that even masturbation feels disconnected or empty, this point may be exactly what you've been missing. Because health tips for men over 60 aren't just about exercise or nutrition. They're also about nervous system balance, something rarely discussed in traditional urology, but absolutely essential to real recovery. Here's how to try it. 1. Sit down and remove your socks. 2. Locate the soft dip just beneath the ball of your foot. 3. Using 2 fingers, tap gently on that area for about 30 seconds. 4. Repeat on the other foot. And as you do, breathe deeply. Focus on your breath moving down from your chest to your belly, to your legs, to your feet. You might notice your thoughts start to slow, your shoulders drop, your breath deepen. This is no small thing. In fact, for many of my patients, this little ritual became a turning point, not because it fixed everything overnight, but because it gave them a way to start feeling again. And sometimes that's the most important step. So if you've been carrying the belief that masturbation is good or bad for health, or that you must choose between full desire or full control, take a pause. Try this. Let your body teach you a different lesson, a quieter one built on safety, not shame. We've now awakened your energy through the abdomen, and we've grounded your thoughts through your feet. But there's one more place we need to visit, a spot most men never think about, yet one that holds the key to mental clarity, emotional release, and a kind of stillness that allows desire to return without force. Let's move to the top of your head. Point 3. The crown of clarity, GV20. By now you have awakened energy in your core. You've grounded your nervous system through your feet. But there's one more place most men forget to check, and it's right at the top of your head. It's called GV20, or the crown of clarity. And in both ancient acupressure and modern neurobiology, this point is known as the gathering place where physical energy meets mental awareness. When I first introduce this concept to patients, the reaction is often the same. The top of my head. What could that possibly have to do with erections? Let me tell you a story. Richard was 72, widowed, and quietly carrying the weight of years he couldn't talk about. He'd been through prostate treatment. He was trying to move forward, but intimacy, even with someone new, filled him with fear. It's not my body, he told me. It's my mind. My thoughts take over and everything shuts down. That's when I introduced him to GV20. This point sits at the crown of your skull. Imagine drawing a line from each ear up and meeting at the very top. Just a few inches, but incredibly powerful. When tapped or gently massaged, GV20 helps clear mental fog, reduce anxiety, and reset your focus. It may sound simple, but what's happening is profound. When you stimulate this point, you activate parts of your brain responsible for emotional regulation. It's like flipping a switch from overthinking to presence, from pressure to peace. This matters deeply for men's health and sexual health, especially as we age. Because over time, the mind can become a bigger barrier than the body. And many older men, even those in relatively good shape, struggle in silence because their thoughts sabotage their desire. That's where this technique can help. Here's how I guided Richard through it. 1. Sit comfortably and take 3 slow breaths. 2. Place 2 fingers at the top of your head. 3. Tap gently for about 30 seconds, not hard, just a steady, light rhythm. 4. As you tap, imagine fog clearing. Picture your thoughts, slowing your body, softening, your heart relaxing. 5. Let go of needing to perform. Just be present. After 2 weeks, Richard said something I'll never forget. It's the first time in years I felt like I was actually there. Not pretending, not trying, just present. This is what the Crown of Clarity offers, not just for intimacy, but for senior wisdom, mental calm, and the quiet confidence that comes when you trust yourself again. If you're a man who's ever questioned whether masturbation is good or bad for health, or whether your mental state is blocking your physical response, GV20 is where you begin to release that burden. It's a gentle reminder that your thoughts don't define your manhood. Your presence does. And like the other 2 points, it doesn't require equipment, supplements, or routines, just 2 fingers, 1 breath, and the willingness to believe that you can still return to clarity. So now you've learned all 3. CV6, the energy center below your navel. K1, the grounding point beneath your feet. And GV20, the mental reset at the top of your head. Each one supports the others, and when used together, they create something truly special. A 90-second ritual that many of my patients say changed the way they approach intimacy, aging, and self-respect. Let me show you exactly how to bring them all together. Let's move on to the full tapping sequence. The sequence tap, the full ritual. Now that you've been introduced to all 3 tapping points, CV6, K1, and GV20, it's time to bring them together. Because while each one has its own benefits, the real transformation begins when you use them in a simple flowing sequence. I call it the sequence tap, and it takes just 90 seconds. No supplements, no pressure, just a quiet moment between you and your body. Let me share how this started. A man named Walter, 75 years old and recently divorced, came to see me not for medication but for hope. He said, "I'm tired of pretending I'm okay. I want to feel something real again, not just sexually but emotionally. I want to be present when I touch someone or when I touch myself." That honesty touched me deeply. So I taught him this full body tapping ritual, not as a prescription, but as a practice of self-respect, a way to reconnect his senior wisdom with his physical confidence. And the results were profound. He began doing it before bed and occasionally before moments of intimacy. And after 3 weeks, he told me I didn't realize how disconnected I'd become from my breath, from my body, from my sense of being a man. That's the heart of this practice. Let me walk you through it now. Step 1, start at the belly, CV6, Sea of Energy. Place your fingers 2 inches below your navel. Tap gently for 30 seconds. Breathe deeply. Visualize warmth returning to your core. This is where arousal begins, not from friction, but from focus. Step 2, move to the top of your head. GV20, Crown of Clarity. Bring your fingertips to the center of your crown. Tap lightly for 20 to 30 seconds. Let your thoughts slow. Let your nervous system shift from tension to presence. This step helps especially for men who overthink, those whose minds interrupt even when the body is willing. Step 3, finish at the feet. K1, Bubbling Spring. Gently tap the soles of your feet one at a time for 20-30 seconds. Let each tap ground you. This calms your entire system and helps keep your focus rooted in the body. That's it. 3 points, 90 seconds, in a moment of genuine connection with yourself. This is the opposite of performance pressure. It's not about trying to achieve anything. It's about allowing your body to remember what it already knows. And if you're someone who's been unsure about masturbation or curious about whether semen retention power can support your vitality, this sequence gives you a grounded, respectful place to explore those questions. It doesn't label. It doesn't judge. It simply invites awareness. For men dealing with erectile dysfunction, emotional burnout, or stress-related urinary incontinence, this kind of nervous system reset can be a missing link, a moment to slow down, reconnect, and return to the strength inside. If you try this for a week, just once a day, maybe before bed or before moments of intimacy, I think you'll notice something shift. Not just in performance, but in presence. It's not just about your body working better, it's about you feeling more whole. And that, in my experience, is where real sexual health begins, not in testosterone levels, but in self-trust. In just a moment, I'll walk you through a simple plan you can follow to make this practice part of your daily rhythm. Because no matter your age, it's never too late to come back to yourself. Let's take a look at what to do next. What to expect. Your 7-day action plan. Now that you've learned the full tapping sequence, the next question is simple. How do I begin? And what should I expect? I always tell my patients, don't wait for the perfect moment. Don't wait until you feel ready or confident or sure it'll work. Just begin, and begin gently. Because for most senior men, this isn't just a new technique. It's a new relationship with your body, your breath, your sense of manhood. Let me tell you about Martin, 67, a retired postal worker. Quiet, disciplined, very private. When I first introduced the tapping ritual to him, he shrugged and said, "Doc, I'm not sure this stuff is for me, but I'll give it a week." So he did, and by day 3, he noticed something surprising. Not in his erections just yet, but in his mood. He said, "I don't know how to explain it, but I feel calmer, lighter, like I'm not dragging something behind me anymore." That's exactly what this practice is about. So here's what I suggest. Your 7-day action plan, day 1-2. Create the space. Pick a quiet time, bedtime works well. Sit comfortably. Go through the full sequence. CV6, GV20, K1. Take slow breaths, no goals, just observe. You're building awareness, not chasing performance. Day 3-4, start to feel shifts. You may notice deeper sleep, less tension in your abdomen. Some men even report a gentle awakening and desire, not urgent but natural. Let it come. Remember, this isn't a fix, it's a reconnection. Day 5-6, check in with yourself. Ask, am I more relaxed, more present? Are my thoughts quieter during intimacy or even during masturbation? You might also notice that arousal feels less mechanical, more emotional. This is a very good sign. Day 7, reflect and decide. Do you feel different in your body, in your breath, in your self-talk? If so, you've already begun rewiring your nervous system. You're proving to yourself gently that change is possible, that pleasure, confidence, and senior wisdom can still live in the same body. And if you miss a day, that's okay. This isn't a rigid program. It's not about perfection. It's about kindness, patience, and small daily health tips that guide your body back toward wholeness. Many of the men I've worked with go on to keep this as a lifelong evening practice. It becomes as routine and as important as brushing their teeth, not because of what it does, but because of how it makes them feel. Grounded, calm, capable. Whether you're managing erectile dysfunction, struggling with emotional fatigue, or just want to reconnect with your partner or with yourself, this practice can help. It's safe, it's simple, it respects your age, your boundaries, and your dignity. And yes, even if you've wondered whether masturbation is good or bad for health, or if semen retention power has a role at your age, this gives you a clear, grounded starting point. One that honors both your sexual health and your emotional peace. So, start tonight, and if you'd like, keep a journal beside your bed. Nothing fancy, just a place to note what you feel. Even one sentence a day. More relaxed, less pressure, warmer in my belly. These are the quiet victories that build confidence over time. In the next part, I'll share a final reflection, one that every man over 60 deserves to hear, but almost never does. Stay with me, because it may be the most important part of this entire message. A moment for your partner. So far, everything we've talked about has focused on you, your breath, your body, your energy. But if you're in a relationship or hoping to build one again, there's one more step that often goes unspoken. That step is sharing this with your partner. I know this can feel uncomfortable. Many of the older men I work with, even those in long marriages, tell me, "Doc, I don't want to burden her with this. It's my problem." But here's what I've learned after 3 decades in urology and senior health intimacy: thrives not on perfection, but on honesty. And sometimes the most healing thing you can do is open a quiet, respectful conversation. Let me tell you about Alan and Martha. Alan wasn't. Martha, 67, they'd been married 42 years. But for the last decade, physical closeness had become rare. Not because they didn't love each other, but because they both thought the other had lost interest. Alan started the tapping practice quietly for 2 weeks. Then one evening he turned to Martha and said, "I've been trying something new, something simple, that's helping me feel a bit more like myself again." He didn't frame it as a problem. He framed it as a desire to reconnect, to feel, to grow. And to his surprise, Martha didn't hesitate. She said, "I've missed us too." That one moment changed everything. Because the truth is, your partner may be waiting for you to break the silence. They may be feeling the same distance, the same hesitation, the same question of, is this just how aging works? But aging doesn't mean disconnection. Not when there's openness, not when there's curiosity, and not when there's a practice you can share together like tapping. Here's what I often suggest. Try the full tapping ritual alone for 1 week. Notice how your body and emotions respond. Then invite your partner into the conversation, not with pressure, but with curiosity. Share how this has helped you feel more grounded, more present. Ask gently, would you be open to exploring this with me? Some couples use it as foreplay, others as a moment of connection before sleep, and some simply hold hands during the process, a quiet way to say, we're still in this together. This practice doesn't just restore physical intimacy, it builds emotional safety. And for many elderly couples, that emotional trust is what brings back the fire. Whether you're dealing with erectile dysfunction, performance, anxiety, or even confusion around masturbation and semen retention power, having someone to walk alongside you makes the journey gentler, more human, more whole. And if you're not currently in a relationship, this still matters. Because when you feel connected to yourself without shame or apology, you radiate a quiet confidence. And that energy, it invites connection in every form, romantic, social, even spiritual. So take a moment today. If you have a partner, let them in, not to fix anything, but to explore something together. In the next and final section, I want to leave you with a message I believe every man over 60 deserves to hear. It's not about science or technique. It's about identity healing and the truth that you are not done yet. Let's talk about what it means to reclaim your sexual power. Final thought, it's never too late to come home to yourself. If there's one message I hope you carry with you after everything we've explored together, it's this. You are not broken, you are not too old, and you have not missed your chance. In my 30 years as a urologist working with elderly men across all walks of life, veterans, teachers, builders, fathers, I've seen one silent belief stop more healing than any physical condition ever could. And that belief is this: it's too late for me, too late to feel desire, too late to feel strong, too late to reconnect with a partner, too late to enjoy sexual health without pills, shame, or disappointment. But I'm here to tell you that belief is a lie. Let me tell you about Roy. Roy was 79 when he came to see me. He'd lost his wife 10 years earlier. He was convinced that the part of him that once loved touch, intimacy, and closeness had faded like a memory from another life. But then something changed. He began doing the 90-second tapping ritual. Quietly, alone. No expectations, just a moment of presence each night. And within 3 weeks, he told me this: I didn't think anything was happening. Until one morning I woke up and felt something I hadn't felt in years, a sense of being alive. Not just below the belt, but everywhere. That, my friend, is the essence of this message. This isn't about performance. It's about presence. It's about returning to your body, your breath, and your worth, no matter your age, your history, or your doubts. It's about realizing that masturbation, when done with intention and respect, can be a form of healing, not something to hide. That senior wisdom is not the absence of desire, but the deepening of it. That strength isn't found in testosterone alone, but in the quiet decision to keep showing up for yourself. You don't need a perfect body. You don't need 20-year-old erections. You just need a few quiet minutes and the courage to believe that you still deserve connection, touch, closeness, and yes, pleasure. Whether you're navigating erectile dysfunction, questioning your changing relationship with intimacy, or simply wondering if semen retention power or subtle practices like this can still support your vitality, this journey is yours, and it's far from over. You can begin today with your breath, with your fingertips, with a sense of gentle curiosity, not pressure. And if you're still here, if you've made it to this moment, then I believe something inside of you is ready to return, ready to feel again, ready to come home to the man you've always been. So let me leave you with this. You are not alone. You are not invisible. and your story still matters deeply. If this video offered you even one helpful insight, something hopeful, something healing, I'd be honored if you would. Tap the like button. Subscribe to our channel Life Over 50 Plus. And if you feel moved to share your thoughts or journey, leave a comment below. Even something simple like still, here, or I'm ready, it might just help another man take that first brave step back toward himself. Let's grow together with respect, with dignity, and with the understanding that healing doesn't end with age. Sometimes it begins with it. Thank you for trusting me to walk a few steps of this journey with you. I'll see you in the next video.